Hey, what's up, you guys? It's IAmTheLionRider, and welcome back after an extremely long hiatus to Mystic Aquarium. We are on episode 2 of this entire series. I am joined today with the most special guest I will ever have, my lovely girlfriend, Julie.
Hello.
I should probably explain the multitude of reasons why Mystic Aquarium is,
Go ahead, Nick. Explain to them why you put this off for so long.
Okay, so the most important reason is the Australia update. Ever since that came out, it broke all the mods.
Fair enough.
So all of my series are modded.
Yes.
So that's why...
I've seen you make every single mod. I know.
So,
I've seen you get upset that every single mod breaks every time it updates.
So that meant Roger Williams got delayed.
Yep.
And that was on top of the existing issues I had from the 1.2 update with the camel mod and stuff.
I was about to say, are we going to talk about the camels?
Yeah, so, but, I've released that. Unfortunately, that's come and gone. But Roger Williams is back on track. I already have the Given mod made. That'll be the next episode. So, Roger Williams fans, don't worry. And now I should address the other two. So Mystic, issue is aquatic animals obviously are a lot more difficult in the game because I'm trying to make something that shouldn't exist in the game.
Well, yeah, because a lot of the models are using a quadrupedal rigs.
Yes. So in the last episode I did whales using the hippo rig. And in this episode, I am using the technique I used in Roger Williams for my harbor seal mod to obviously make another harbor seal, but also the Northern Pacific fur seal, which is actually a type of sea lion. So I had to kind of experiment with my favorite rig, the bear rig.
Oh, yeah.
To basically make a bear into a sea lion.
Yeah, I think I've seen you do that a few times, because I've seen the process of how you rig it when you model it. Obviously we went to school for this, but it's just, when it comes to the texturing, that's always what looks a little wonky.
Yeah.
Because when the textures get stretched out, that's just what it's for.
Yeah.
It's a dead giveaway to you and I. Where, the model may look good, except for when it clips out and, completely reverses in on itself.
Yeah, when it turns back, when it reverts back into a bear. Yeah. Besides that, so that was the big issue. And then Atlas Park, I did have episode 3 done, and then the mod broke it right before I could film the, outro sequence where I, show off the, final creature and stuff. I won't reveal what it is.
Oh, spicy.
But that will also come. And so I've talked to Lemur. He's also in the same boat as me, where he's like, oh, great, everything broke, so we're backed up. But, needless to say, everything will be hopefully back on schedule. The good news is I've now made one sea lion, and so half this aquarium is sea lions. So, so luckily...
Well, it definitely is one of the best exhibits they have there. I know I spend a lot of time there, so...
Yeah, I love sea lions. Like the best part of aquariums to me are the pinnipeds, cetaceans or whales, and pinnipeds are sea lions and stuff. So I guess without further ado, I can kind of get started on this, explaining what I'm doing. So right now, all you've basically been seeing me do is lay down the basic pathway for the, exhibit. Now, I didn't want to mess with the, messing with the water system, with the terrain system, with the path system. Yeah. I always mess with that. I'm done. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
So what I did was...
Any particular reason? Does it just give you hardships whenever you try?
It doesn't like paths on water.
Pathing systems don't like to be messed with. If you're... you just don't mess with pathing systems because they'll just go all wonky. So, it's made to be used a certain way. It's really hard to alter. Yeah,
so basically the game doesn't like it when terrain is next to paths and next to water and stuff. So what I did was I faked the path. I did a path so that, the NPCs in the game could walk around it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I basically layered art pieces on top of it to look like a path. So it looks nice and clean from a, outside perspective, but it actually,
Yeah, it doesn't have like the internal code where it wants to do like the pathing.
Yeah, it's not.
Just mess with it.
Yeah, and so it's basically functional. It's just,
it's like a back end reverse way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just to make it work the way you want it to.
Yeah. So that way I was able to just kind of freeform work on the exhibit without worrying about anything like water and stuff, which helped me out because obviously I'm designing a habitat for seals and sea lions. So the big thing was water. So I needed to make sure that 90% of this was water.
But they do have like a really interesting like wall rock layout and like the setup for the rocks. So it is imperative that you do the water, and then I can see now that like you're laying out the wall rocks.
And that is a great transition, Julie.
I know.
Because I want to highlight a part of this episode that I'm very proud of. So this color rock is not in the actual game.
Oh, did you make it yourself?
Yes. So this color rock is to match the design that's actually in the aquarium.
The normal maps look really good on it. It just gives it a lot of depth.
So yeah, I can pull up a picture here of what the actual aquarium rock looks like. It's basically like black rock, like black and blackish, almost like a blue shade of like coastal rock. So I just replaced the tropical rock in the game, which is like a brown by default.
Is there only one type, or is there numerous types?
Well,
like the tropical rock, or like different kinds of rocks that you could have used for this?
Oh yeah, I could have replaced any of them. I like most of the other colors. I just know I'm never using the tropical rock because there's no rocks that are brown, really. Yeah. But the tundra rocks are like a light gray. The temperate rocks are like a grayish yellow almost.
Yeah. Well, because I can see, like, going back to, like, the wall when it comes back, like, I can clearly, like, see the repeat pattern.
Yes.
Like, of the rock, even though, like, you did twist it, like, I still do see, like, the highlights on the rock. So maybe, like, a different rock with, like, another normal map and another texture on that would have been a little better.
Well, so later on I do fix that.
Oh, okay. Because I was kind of looking at it like...
What's funny is you're mentioning the repeat pattern, and when we get to it, I'm going to bring that up again. Because the rocks in the actual aquarium are not smooth. They're very, very rough.
Yeah.
And so, because they're meant to be, again, like coastal, like cliff bluffs almost. Yeah. And so I knew I just needed this type of rock in general because this exhibit, as well as the next episode, which will be the Stellar Sea Lion, share this entire like kind of rock facade. So that's just why I thought, I need to make it custom or else it's just not going to look right.
Yeah. Well, especially because, like, they're a certain color at Mystic, too. Like, they are very, very dark, and since they kind of always look, like, slick with water, so, like, they're always just really dark and shiny. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, that made sense to just make your own texture if the game didn't have what you were looking for.
Yep. And so then, I don't know if I go into it too much right now. I know I do at some point. But I basically decide to texture the entire flat surface with, you can kind of see me starting here.
Yeah.
I basically dot around a bunch of random rock shapes into the wall, and I'm basically making like rock clusters almost of like texture. And so right now it kind of just looks a little like, flat or whatever. But eventually you see I basically make a repeated pattern of these clusters of rocks and just spam the entire thing. So it looks a lot more, ornate and elaborate. And I think in the end it looks really good.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to mention. But because I spammed the same pattern, it is very repeatable.
Yeah.
And so I had to then go back again and try to delete some rocks and move them around and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
getting it until it feels right.
Yeah, it was basically just using, any technique that any, game developer uses where, if you see something super repetitive, you need to just kind of mix it up.
That's, as a game developer myself, it's super repetitive to the eye, and good game design just shouldn't be noticed by the player. It should just be appreciated. So, if they do notice a repeating texture, it is something that takes away their experience in the game. Well, everything we learned.
Yep.
So
basically you see me here. This is the eventual pattern that I basically repeat. So it looks, a lot more rough than before, so I just select this little cluster.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how you did that, if you could turn it into like a brush or something, but yeah.
Yeah, so you literally treat it like, it basically, like I said, it treats it like a game engine. So if you were to take all of these objects, you just basically make a group, and then you can just treat the group like it's an object, and you can just paste it around. So, like I said, I'm just basically pasting the entire pattern, but it is noticeable right now.
Yeah.
So then I basically go back and change it. But as you can see, it basically totally changes like how the rock wall looks now, because now it's a lot more rough.
Yeah, where like with the rocks you had before, you got like the basic shape down that you were looking for, which is good. But yeah, this definitely adds the texture that Mystic does have in person.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm just basically copying it around. Now that I have the whole thing, I basically do my best to try and make this not noticeable that it's a repeated pattern.
Yeah.
So basically, my big technique was just
taking out the top rocks first.
Well, the same thing goes for any actual texturing. You want to remove horizontal lines, because people can just pick up on horizontal or vertical lines. And then big objects that are repeated, so big rocks, I had to like kind of move around, or else they were noticeable.
Yeah.
Now, though, I am actually moving on to the actual rocks that are in the habitat. So these are the ones where the seals and sea lions like hang out on.
Yeah, we saw them get fed there last time we were there.
Yeah, so I should mention that. I can't believe I haven't mentioned that. Since last episode, I've now gotten a membership to Mystic Aquarium.
It's been that long?
Yes. So I've gotten a membership to the aquarium. So now I can go as many times as I want if I need a reference or whatever. I've gone maybe
I think four
times since since
by
this
the
last
second
episode.
time we made use of the membership, it's just worth it for us.
Yeah, because I will say that it's the only thing I don't like about aquariums in general. Way more expensive than zoos. So, for instance, a one-day pass to go to Mystic for Julie and I would have cost $80 versus my year membership to Roger Williams, which was $90. So I could go basically unlimited times to the zoo for the same price as one day at the aquarium. Luckily, we got the couples pass for Mystic, which was $150, I think.
Something around there.
So by just going 2 times, we already paid for it, but now we've gone 4 times, and I can just kind of go with whoever, so, it's not really an issue.
You're going to take someone else on the couples pass?
So I do want to mention this, because I know I was talking to my friends and stuff, like Minty and stuff, and he was mentioning, like, that wall is way too high. That's, have you made sure it's to scale? And I'm like, actually, it is to scale.
It literally is. Okay, Minty, it's to scale.
Well, it's an extremely high wall.
Well, they use it to like separate the different parts of the enclosures, because on the other side of this enclosure, they have another type of.
Yes, the stellar sea lions.
Yeah, so they have them. So they use it to separate it. So yes, Minty.
Because he's talking about like the little cement wall where the guests are and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was saying how it is tall, but it's because you literally need to like step on the little staircase. Like I'm 6 foot myself in real life. Julie, you're 5'2".
I am.
She can't see over the wall. So she needs to stand on the little the people think it's like the kiddie staircase. No, it's just the normal staircase. You kind of need to just step up to look at it.
Yeah, and I think they have like even on top of that wall, they have like a bar.
Yeah, just that you can like look, because it is
and
tall.
It's like the wall, a bar, and it like kind of curves in a little bit.
Yep. So that's why that wall is so tall. It is tall. It obstructs the view of the sea lions, but it does in real life too. So
it is very accurate.
So sue me, but I didn't design the aquarium.
I bet you wish, huh?
I wouldn't have designed Mystic the way I did. They did, because
I mean, you say the same about like every series.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you do these kinds of things, like you notice all the flaws that they do, all the different ways it could have been better.
Yep. What I did like though is like I like designing aquarium exhibits though, because it is different than designing like any of the zoo ones that I've done. just because, again, I'm working a lot more with like rock work and water and stuff like that, and not a lot of foliage. So if this was like a zoo build, I'd be like spamming trees everywhere. Yeah. But I'm instead.
You actually have to like put a lot of thought process into how this looks.
Yeah, and like selectively choosing where I'm adding like grass and stuff. So I'm just sprinkling it in like tiny areas. So this is what I'm doing. I know you mentioned earlier you wanted like different color rocks. Yeah. So I'm putting a couple of tundra rocks in the cracks and stuff to just give it a little bit of color variety. Then basically I just wanted to finish up rounding off this path just because I guess I forgot at the beginning of this episode.
How dare you?
And then basically, so this is pretty much the end of the actual sea lion habitat. And then if you're wondering, oh, but there's still like 10 minutes left, what are you doing? Then I actually go back and do the area leading up to this section between the belugas and the actual enclosure. So it's only a couple of things, but like I thought they were pretty key and I wanted to include them in this episode. So here I go. So basically, the big thing is the Penguin Discovery Zone.
Oh boy.
Which is basically before coronavirus.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Before
Do you remember a time before?
Yeah. Before the Rona, you could basically pay to go and play with the penguins. Yeah. So basically, there was this building next to. It, like I said, it's between the harbor seals and the belugas, and you were able to either go pet the belugas, go into the beluga closure and play with them, or go in the they bring an African penguin into this place and just let it kind of walk around, waddle, and you get to like pet it and stuff. So this was just like an area. And basically, there's a little glass window on the outside that you could like look in if there was a session going on, so you could like look in and watch people petting the penguin. Yeah. Like I said, ever since Corona, they're obviously not letting you do that anymore.
Did you forget the Discovery also had a V and
yes,
I
did. I did notice that.
I definitely just didn't miss that.
Yeah.
Discovery.
Yeah, I did see that. That was an unfortunate thing. I did fix it though. I did immediately notice.
Yeah. You're just like, oh no.
But yeah, this is where my detailing gets a little too crazy because I always do this. I basically tried to accurately recreate all the signs and stuff around this area. So basically, it's not a complicated sign. It just says Penguin Discovery Zone with blue. But since the in-game signs don't really do this, I had to like make it custom. I always forget this part. I feel so bad. They made this set of fonts or of font pieces, and I always forget their name.
Well, okay, put their stuff
I know.
in the description.
I always, and that's the other thing is I always do, and I've done this like 20 times now, and you would think I would have learned, but no, I never do.
All right, well, thank you to whoever actually did.
But yeah, I love their font. I use it in pretty much everything, and yet I still don't know your name. And that bothers me because I feel really bad. But needless to say, you have once again helped me with another, realistic sign recreation. So yeah, I haven't done the interior, and I was making the joke to Minty and stuff while I was recording. I was like, I just need to basically treat this like a Minecraft channel and be like, I did some building off camera, and I just do the entire interior building of the Penguin Discovery Center.
No, you could just put like God's eye view and just do like a 12-hour time lapse.
Yep.
Beautiful,
so
wonderful 2012 content.
If anyone saw me place down the, I wanted to do a ice cream vending machine as a placeholder because normally that is the real life counterpart of a Dippin' Dots stand, and so I made sure to include that. Oh, but this is an interesting little thing I've done.
On here?
So I'm actually making the little custom statue that is on the way. You blow past it every time you look at. You just want to go to the sea lions. But there's a nice little ornate statue.
Can you blame me?
There's a nice little statue of a mother sea lion and a baby sea lion.
Aww.
And so I was just recreating that quick. I didn't really even go off a reference photo, so this might not be 100% correct, but I've been there enough to like know that it's at least a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is the positioning. It's either that or the baby's on the mother or something. I just know it's a mother and a baby sea lion.
Gotcha.
So I'm using the primitive art pieces to basically just make a sea lion. This is where when I was talking to Minty, he said, "Oh my God, it's a red and blue sea lion," and I'm like, "That's orange and like cyan. What are you talking about?" And then he's colorblind, so so I learned that.
Guess we learn something new every day.
But yeah, so there's the statue, and then so this is an interesting idea, right?
Gotcha.
So I know there is a sign here that directs you towards the penguins and the stellar sea lion, and I didn't know what it looked like per se. So at first I was going to place down just some of the basic signs in the game. But then I saw in one of my reference photos, in the penguin discovery reference photo, in the reflection of the glass.
Why didn't you just look this up on the internet? On like
no,
their
it's
website
not.
or
No, see, that's the thing. Is unlike Roger Williams, Mystic does not have a Google Maps walkthrough of the aquarium. They have no reference images of any of the exhibits. So you have to either use tertiary footage from people's trips, where they only want to go see the belugas anyway. And again, most people just film the animals, believe it or not, and not the actual exhibits.
Yeah.
So naturally, that's what they do. So it's very difficult to find reference photos beyond what I've done.
Yeah.
So I'll pull up the reference image that I use for this sign, and it's literally in the reflection of the glass of the Penguin Discovery Center.
Oh God.
But it was it was a very clear reflection. So basically, the top sign is a stellar sea lion. So I was able to recreate that quick. And then the bottom is a little African penguin. So I had to be creative with some of the pieces here to make a penguin with this small. What I found cool is I used the gutter piece, and if you guys look closely, like the gutter actually made a little stripe along the center of the stomach, which is actually how African penguin
I was about to
patterns
say
are.
that does look accurate.
So then I'm just messing with some spheres to like get the shape of the head and stuff.
Yeah.
So again, obviously it's a very minimalistic version of a penguin.
Definitely.
But I think it's clear that it is a penguin.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but it's definitely close to the real thing. And like I said, you can look at that. Now the sea lion itself, that was a lot easier to make look like a sea lion because I had a lot more shapes to work with and stuff.
Of course.
The issue here I came up with was the when I get to the signs. So I needed to use the actual in-game signs, and like I said, I'm mad they just don't have a blank sign where I could just type text on like something null. So I have to kind of sink it into the background and then mess with all of my layers in the sea lion and stuff to get it to try and cover up the sea lion while not covering the background, but also making sure the sign background it's a mess. Penguin Pavilion was easy. That I had no issue with that one.
Yeah, because you didn't have a lot of shapes and layers to worry about.
Yeah, so that was easy. I just changed the sign. I had to cover up the little bit of the bottom. But the Pacific Northwest, I had to like mess with a ton. Eventually, I just give up even trying to cover it on the sea lion itself, and I just called it a day.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty accurate to the real sign at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just rounding out this episode, I'm basically just doing the little bit of like, not even wetlands, but like kind of like grassland.
Yeah, you're just adding texture.
Area. Right behind it, there's a little bit of a like small river that runs through. It's nothing elaborate or anything, but I'm just adding some trees and foliage and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty. I don't know what else to say. I think I might add like fences or something right before this episode ends. I'm making a nice little like area.
Just make it pretty.
Adding some dirt and sand and that sort of thing to the area, and then this is where I start adding my fences. One of the African fences in the game is very accurate to one of the fences in real life. So I just copied that.
Yeah.
No need to, you know, reinvent the wheel if it's already, you know, pretty close.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you needed to, you could take the shape, but then you could just mess with the texture like you did with the rocks if it wasn't, like, to your liking.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I try not to mod everything just in the off chance that people want to download these, like, when I'm eventually done.
Oh, now you added the people.
Oh, this is what I was saying to because Minty was like, oh, that wall is way too tall. And I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, it's really not.
But, yeah, so this is just me, like, you know, just cleaning up my boundaries, yeah, I mean, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy my, my new Harbor Seal texture, because I made a brand new one from Roger Williams. It used the old one, too, because the actual exhibit has 2 Atlantic Harbor Seals, 2 Pacific Harbor Seals, and 4, Northern Pacific Fur Seals. So, yeah, without further ado, after these, I make these fences, of course. Yeah, you can, check those out. So, I promise I will be back for Mystic Episode 3.
You better hold that promise. They're gonna hold you to it.
Hopefully it'll come out a lot sooner. And, yeah, the next episode will be the Stellar Sea Lion. So, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.